Hello, everyone. Philip Lee returning with another edition of Civil War Chat. Today is Monday, the 19th of September, 2022. Our topic today is a Reconstruction lesson for Northerners. If you'd like to subscribe, click the subscribe button here in the lower right. And if you click on that notification bell in the far upper right, you'll be notified when they're released. And also, if you click on that, an historian who you do not like will pass away. Okay, let me begin with my presentation. During the Civil War, the District of Columbia had three local governments: Washington City, Georgetown, and Washington County. Each entity had elective offices with candidates chosen by adult white male voters. 9 months after Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox in April of '65, the district held a non-binding referendum on black male suffrage in December of '65. The vote was only 35 in favor and 6,000 opposed. 6,600 opposed. It was not binding because the Republican-controlled Congress held ultimate authority over the district, as they soon demonstrated when they mandated black male suffrage in December 1866. Thus, in the 1868 Washington City elections, blacks supported Republican Sayles Bowen over Democrat John Givens. The close vote necessitated a recount, but the emerging behind-the-scenes Republican boss, Alexander Shepard, unilaterally declared Bowen the winner while the recounts were still in progress. Once in office, Bowen spent money like a drunken sailor on public works projects, including a generous share allocated to black contractors, black workers, and black suppliers. Within 2 years, Bowen had so crippled the city financially that his own party ran and elected Matthew Emery as their reform candidate in 1870. Due to Bowen's malfeasance, local Republican politicos like Alexander Shepard persuaded Congress to convert the entire district into a unified territorial government in 1871. So it became a territory. The president was empowered to appoint a territorial governor, whereas residents elected members to a House of Delegates. You get that? This is a territorial government. Blacks have suffrage in Washington, in the district, but they are not permitted to vote for governor. The governor is appointed by the president. This is a Republican-controlled Congress and a Republican president who implemented this. And President Ulysses Grant appointed fellow Ohioan Henry Cook as the first territorial governor. Henry was the brother of Jay Cook, who owned one of America's biggest investment banks. Jay would also become Grant's biggest contributor for the president's successful 1872 re-election campaign. Henry Cook, who served on the board of directors of the Freedmen Savings Bank, was mostly a figurehead governor. Alexander Shepard held the true power, which he exercised initially as vice chair of the Board of Public Works, until President Grant appointed him to replace Cook as territorial governor in 1873. The Board of Public Works controlled all the spending, and there was a hell of a lot of spending going on, and as I shall explain. Among Shepard's initiatives, popular with voters, such as blacks, who paid little in direct taxes. It's popular among the voters who paid little in direct taxes, was an ambitious spending program to modernize the capital city, partly because some Western leaders in the United States urged that the capital city be moved to St. Louis, more centrally located in the continental United States. So with strong support from black voters, Shepard was able to get a bond referendum approved to finance the expenditures he wanted to make in the District of Columbia. Although a vote was not officially required, the victory enabled Shepard to cite it as evidence that the residents endorsed the program. The district's mostly white taxpayers and property owners, however, were horrified by the implications of the ballooning debt. Much like what happened in the southern states, debt got out of control because these carpetbag regimes just printed bonds in the South, particularly. They printed them before the railroads were even built, the railroads that they were supposed to finance. Anyway, in Washington, back to the district. By 1873, the $6 million initiative that Shepherd had announced had already exceeded $9 million. When local taxpayers complained of losing properties for tax deficiencies caused by the unsustainable spending, the House of Representatives formed a bipartisan investigative committee. It learned that the program's chief beneficiary was a ring of Shepherd business associates and real estate developers. While congressional Republicans were unwilling to perpetuate a censured government, their own government, it was censured. It was a government of their own making, and they were not willing to perpetuate it. It was one that might continue to irresponsibly manipulate Black voters. But they did not want to backtrack off of Black suffrage. As a matter of consistency, Congress might otherwise be compelled, if they did back off of Black suffrage in the District of Columbia, they might be compelled to enlarge their retreat on Reconstruction to the former Confederacy as well, thereby disfranchising the Republican Party's largest and most reliable voting bloc in 11 states. Consequently, the committee recommended unanimously that the district's territorial government be abolished and replaced by a presidentially appointed board of commissioners. That action did not just disfranchise Blacks, it disfranchised all of the voters in the District of Columbia. The district went into bankruptcy after an audit revealed that its bills were $13 million in arrears. Among the casualties of this was the Freedmen's Savings Bank, whose chief depositors and almost exclusive depositors were ex-slaves. The bank had invested heavily in Washington real estate in response to the temporary boom triggered by Shepherd's untenable spending. Boss Shepherd moved his family to Mexico in 1876 after declaring personal bankruptcy here in the United States. The District of Columbia did not completely repay its Shepherd-era debts until 1916, a year before the United States entered World War I. In sum, when attempting to manage Reconstruction within their own domain, meaning Washington, D.C., Republicans discovered that Black suffrage led to corruption, bankruptcy, and exploitation of Blacks by Republican overlords. They created havoc in Washington and shamelessly foisted it off on the southern states where they did not have to face it on a daily basis. They were much like the pious residents of today's Martha's Vineyard, where the solution to problems is out of sight, out of mind. Okay, to really understand Reconstruction, get Philip Lee's Southern Reconstruction. It's $26 at Amazon. If you'd like an autographed copy, it'd be $30 from me. I will cover the postage. But if you want an autographed copy of Southern Reconstruction, email me, Phil, PHIL _Lee, LEIGH @me.com. Okay, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.